circuits, and Dylan, I think it's going to be a close race.
100%. We do have 14 drivers. They have started their qualifying, so we're going to catch up the action as 7 minutes in, and we can just jump over in the cameras. Let's just get some of the sound up. We did fix some of the issues that we were having last week Thursday, where we had that terrible echo that was coming through, but at least now everything is up and running. And I can share the screen here for Ashley.
That would be great. Thanks, Dylan.
And I just need to keep reminding myself that I'm the one who is controlling the cameras, so I have taken up the reins there. So currently we are watching Memo driving out onto the SPA circuit. Definitely one of my favorite tracks. It's just got such a nice flow to it, lots and lots of high-speed sections, but not only that, major braking zones, and that allows for some really good overtaking opportunities. Drivers to look out for this evening is currently car number 13, that's Jakes. With our point system dropping your lower score, Jakes and Jacques Racing are currently at the top of the table, both having secured a win under the bag, understanding that Jacques did miss out one of those races, so he doesn't have any reserve points in the bag.
Yeah, another guy to look out for, Connor. We saw him in the qualification that he was in the top 3. I think he actually came in second the blistering time in that Nissan, but he's now driving the Honda, and we've seen the Honda around the Nürburgring how it seems to be a lot more competitive than the other cars, but this circuit has plenty of long straights, and I think the extra horsepower is going to be in the favor of the Lexus and possibly the Nissan.
The other driver we're going to be looking out for is Dion van Heerden. He came up from the Brabant with his teammates. Flip van Zyl is here again this evening. Flip driving in the Lexus. These are two really strong drivers, having been promoted themselves with the qualifying up into this Alpha tier. We also can't count out Paul, the teammate of the Project Wet Cat Racing. He had an absolute crack of a race last week, got himself up to second, having been able to overtake Jakes in that crazy Nürburgring battle we saw last week. But currently fastest on the track is Marius. He is the second of the Green Mamba races. He was brought in as a, let's say, a guest driver, generally driving for the Silverback with myself not racing. Jakes did invite him over. Just having a look at some of the guys joining us on the stream. We've got Nikki Pearson. She's saying hi, Dylan and Ashley. Great seeing you guys again. Wishing Janaman, her boss, a fantastic race tonight. Reeves, he's all smiles. We will see him racing a little bit later. Reeve, we've got all eyes on you. And Nikki saying that she is cheering for JJ the Greg tonight.
Excellent. It's good to see support coming through for the guys. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. And looking at the times, Jake's posting a time there just a second under Morris at the moment. So far Morris setting a blistering time of 2:21 around the Spa. We know that this is one of the favorite circuits for the drivers, with long straights and sweeping corners. And also one of the longest tracks on the calendar. I think the guys are definitely going to enjoy this evening's racing. 45 minutes this evening for the race, with qualifying still left to go. We've got almost 2.5 minutes left to go, and let's see if the battle at the top, if anything changes during the course of this qualifying.
Look, we also know that how while qualifying is important, it is definitely a long race. So the guys are going to be just making sure that those pit strategies are done and set. We saw Jason Hazard, currently third fastest. He was leading for most of the race last week, got into the pit, and that was when Jakes was able to get himself ahead of him. So we understand that there are certain things that happen, and apologies, it wasn't last week, it was at Silverstone, and Jakes managed to get out of the pits ahead of him. Yep,
the race can definitely be won and lost in the pits. We saw from the Bravotiers as well, Durkee had a massive lead, almost a 6-second lead, and then an unfortunate mistake, putting on the wrong tyres, and they had a different race setup for that strategy, and that unfortunately cost him the race as well. So yeah, the guys have to be super careful approaching the pits, getting on the limiter correctly, and not speeding in the pits. And then we see, I think it's Morris who's
That's
just gone
Morris.
off there, but he'll
Yep.
probably be returning to the pits.
So I have seen
So,
that Jacques Racing
yeah.
has just gone second fastest, 0.2 off Marius's pace there. I wonder whether Marius was watching the timesheet when that happened, which just distracted him just a little bit, which in turn put him off. So guys, we do have 45 seconds left of this qualifying. We will be exiting. We are going to be trying something a little bit different this evening. So while instead of you watching what's happening in terms of the loading screen, we are going to just play the highlights of our Monday night race, and you can just get a sense of the Alpha tier at Brno. So let's see how that goes, because we are going to be exiting out of this in the next couple of seconds. So guys, enjoy. We will be back shortly with the start of the Alpha tier race.
So very tough, especially with the longer track here. You've only got just over 2 minutes to get around here, so if just that silly mistake actually cost me.
Guys, thank you so much for the feedback. Sean Printu saying good picture, Dylan. Greg Thompson. Sorry, Greg. He's saying FB and YouTube are all good. Thank you guys. So yeah, Pete, keep it up on Gavin. So we are waiting for the drivers just to do their sync up, and we will be racing. And man, oh man, these first couple of corners are just so tricky. So generally going through turn 1 is pretty easy, through turn 2 as well. It is lots of space there. It's when you start getting into turn 3 and turn 4, the track is so wide that you generally find that you could be finding yourself going through there pretty wide, and then the track tightens up going into turn 5 and 6, and that's when some of the contact You're not supposed to be listening to us. So actually looking for an opportunity to put... Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. So we just missed the start, and unfortunately as we jumped into the lobby, they had just got going, but we did miss it by about 3.5 seconds. So we are going to get somebody from the Bravo tier just to let us know that they have started moving, and then at that point we'll be able to hit the button and watch the start. But at this stage we've got Jake's out in front, then it is Jacques in second place. So side by side, the two Nissans heading down the start finish line. They're going to be heading back to turn number 1. Jake's on the inside, and that is Jacques on the outside. Right behind them is Marius. A great inside maneuver there for Jacques. He managed to take the tighter line, but it does look like Jake's is under a little bit of pressure as they head down the hill. Starting to put a little bit of a gap between themselves and fourth place, but it is a Green Mamba, Project Wetcat, and a Green Mumbas.
Yeah, so we know that Mario started out in pole position, so I wonder what happened on him in the first couple of laps. Maybe it was just being a little bit caution, or maybe caught out by the slipstream on the back straight here. But he looks like he's settled down in third, and I think he's just watching this battle out in front, and just wait for the right moment to overtake or make his move, shall I say.
So just drive.
Go
for it.
Out in fifth position, we got D Van Heerden, and he's putting pressure on, and that's Connor. And we saw Connor from the qualifying stages that how quick he was right at the beginning. So good to see him racing this evening. He's been missing the last couple of races, I think since Silverstone, and so good to see him back in fourth position there. In seventh, we got the Rainmeister, who's putting some pressure on Hazard 101, and looks like a battle of the Hondas out there at the moment for 6 and 7 position.
So I do want to just check in with our race leaders as they start heading around the back section of this track. Definitely a tricky section, because this is going to be flat out, and going into probably one of my favorite corners, into turn number 18. Then it's setting yourself up for the chicane, turn 19 and 20, then hard on the brakes. And it does look like Jakes has been able to keep Jacques at bay here for the moment.
Yeah, definitely playing the long game here. I wonder how this close racing is going to affect the guys, especially Jacques behind Jakes. Maybe just going to wear the tyres a little bit quicker. Who knows? But yeah, a good battle between a Hazard 101 and
side by side.
Wow.
That is absolutely crazy. Well, that was a great move there for Jason, going around the outside of Dion, and now he's got his sights on Connor, the youngster, just ahead of him. And you can see that the three outs in front have opened a 5-second battle as Jason gets that little bit sideways, coming up out of Red Leon, that got very loose on that Honda, and now he's going to have a Dion pushing back. You can see there's Dion on that outside, and unfortunately Jason, apologies, that was Greg who got a good run on Jason. So Jason was ahead of Dion, and Jason unfortunately now dropping down 2 positions and finds himself in 7th place.
Absolutely, and if just looking out in front, that gap between Jakes and Jacques still the same, with less than half a second between them. And actually, Morris is keeping up with the two in front there, not letting them get away, that's for sure. And he seems to have just found his rhythm again. Maybe he's thinking about applying the pressure, trying to help Jakes out by his teammates by applying the pressure to Jacques Racing.
Well, look, I think Jacques is currently in a position that he hasn't seen too much of, specifically here in SARCO. He is now officially in a Mamba sandwich, We see Stephen Smith, he's joined and said, hey boys, come Jason, let's go my boy. And he's like, team Mumbers, let's go. Stephen was inaugurated into the Mumbers development team. So the guys will be spending some time with Stephen and helping him out and getting him to that Mamba fever applying level. Morris having a little look to the inside there into the chicane on Jacques, but not close enough to put any pressure. Jacques decides it is time to go into the pits. So I wonder whether he felt that Jakes was slowing him down. He's going to get a pit in early and try and get some clean air and make up some positions later on in the race.
Yeah, definitely going for a different strategy, but he also has to bear in mind that when he comes out, what sort of traffic will he be stuck behind, because the guys are still fairly bunched behind him. So depending on this pit stop, he's going to have his work cut out for him, looks like it.
So that does promote Dion up into 4th place and Connor in 3rd. And I do see that Duppy and Paul Fenter, they've gone in and had a pit stop. So very early pit strategy for there, as well as Greg and Ronaldo. They too deciding to go in for a pit. So very, very early pit strategies here. I'm actually quite interested to see how this is going to play out later on in the race.
Yeah, it's definitely going to spread the field out a bit and maybe just give the Mumbers out in front a bit of breathing room. And maybe think about how they're going to attack this session. But at the moment, there seems to be in a command lead. We're only 3 laps down, Dylan, with still quite a bit of time left on the clock. So at this stage, it's anyone's race. Oh, there we see somebody go off, and that looks like Sarge, who's gone a bit wide, and unfortunately, that's dropped him down to 7th position.
Yeah, so I think that we'll see Sarge a little bit further down, because that is his teammate Memo, who's actually now in front of him. So Sarge is further down, or the timing on this, yeah, there we go. So Memo has already gone past there. And then we've got Pete down in 9th place in that 777 Honda.
Nice colour scheme that he's gone for there. Definitely one of the better looking vehicles on the track. And I see Jarks Racing is down in 10th at the moment, so lost quite a bit of time there going into that pit stop. And it looks like it was around about 50 seconds that he's off the race leaders at the moment.
Ooh, that's a very, very aggressive corner there for Dion, but it looks like he's closing up on Connor. So he does have that Lexus right up the rear, and in 5th place there, that is Jason. I'm sure Jason is watching the rear of this Lexus, trying to figure out how he's going to start closing down. Is a great exit there once again for Dion van Heerden, is that he managed to get that power down, and you can see how close he is. I'm pretty sure he's going to be setting himself up for a tow coming down the Kemmel Straight and force an overtake before they go into turn 7.
Absolutely, and I suspect that Lexus has a little bit more horses under the bonnet compared to the Honda. But Connor still managed to get a good exit out of Rouge.
You see that little kick of the rear there for Dion.
I reckon Connor was able to perhaps go flat out through Rouge, whereas Dion may have just had to lift a bit, and that gave Connor a bit of advantage to stay out in front.
So I did see that Sarge moving to the inside on Pete. So he's been able to move himself up back into 8th place. And just ahead of him is his teammate. So the Memo and Sarge both driving out of the Chasing Beavers stable. Just want to jump back to Dion. You can see 0.3 of a second behind Connor, the youngster, in 3rd place. Connor does do a bit of karting in East London, am I right? I keep getting the whole East London or PE. I'm not even going to say the new name for PE.
What?
What?
I don't know. Cabeja. Sorry.
We'll actually get Mal Jacques to come and join us. Hopefully he's watching, and he can explain what that name is.
It's actually in East London that he comes down every now and then, but sometimes we do end up going to Port Elizabeth for a couple of races. Ooh, we see Dion going a bit, and actually loses the back of the car, and that's now going to allow Connor to just pull that gap a little bit, and you'll have a bit of a breathing space now. But now Dion has it 101. Is that Jason?
That's Jason. Yeah.
That's Jason. Now all on the back of him, and goes wide again. So I wonder if he's just pushing a little bit too hard and maybe hurting those tires, and that's allowed for Jason to apply the pressure now. But looks like he's through Rouge, much better exits, and seems to have found his rhythm again, and he's on his way to try catch Connor.
So do you want to jump to our race leader? Oh, wrong button. Apologies, Jakes. There we go. Car number 13, the green Mambas livery with the red trim is Jakes. Just under 3 seconds is the gap that he's pulled from his teammate Marius in a second. And I'm just seeing that distance between Jacques is now at 29 seconds plus all the drivers ahead, but that was done in the 40 seconds. So I just wish that we had some lap times that we could just see, just so we could check how the guys are faring up against each other.
Yeah, this unfortunately is one of the things that the game doesn't offer us at the moment, and as you can see, we're doing the best with what we have at the moment, and trying to give you the best feedback as possible. Oh, there we see someone going off in the background. I'm not too sure who that is, but
I wonder if that was Jacques, because no, that wasn't. I think that was Ronaldo. There we go.
Yeah, okay. So Ronaldo getting out the way, I suspect, of some of the guys coming up behind him.
So it does look like Dion has found his rhythm, and he's starting to just open up a gap again between himself and Jason as they come through turn number 18, then onto the brakes here into the chicane, turns 19 and 20. Sean Prinsloo, he's just joined us saying, "Evening guys, how's it, Sean? Welcome, welcome. I hope you enjoy the racing this evening with us." So I must say that Pete's actually putting up a great fight here, because he hasn't let Sarge run away from him. That while Sarge was looking to overtake Pete, that was at the end of the Kemmel Straight. He is definitely not letting Sarge go away, and it does look like Sarge has decided to peel off and go into the pits. So that is the confirmation there. And a current battle is Jason trying to close down on Dion van Heerden. And Dion's teammate, Flip van Sale, is at the back. Ooh, that is Ronaldo on the side of the track. I wonder whether he had an almighty off.
He does seem to be struggling around here, so maybe he's picked up a bit of damage somewhere, and that's caused him to the car to be a bit upset, and
okay guys,
just maybe getting out the way for the other guys.
Here, just remember the server is going to be reset now, so if you are watching, you can head on over to the Bravo tier. We are resetting that for you.
Also a shout out to our sponsor CT Auto Electrical. Big shout out to Craig. Thank you for all your efforts and your sponsorship this season for the Japanese GT3 tour.
So Stephen, if you are listening, please man, if we can just ask if you're able to jump into the Discord with us just until the start of the race, just so that you can let us know that the cars are currently rolling, and then at that point we'll be able to jump into the race right at the beginning, at the start, so that we're able to catch the start there and not do what we did this time around.
So I see that gap between Jakes and Morris hasn't really changed much, so we find that Morris decided maybe just to back off a bit and give Jakes a bit of space, also allow the tyres to cool down a bit and maybe just look after them a little bit better and just bide his time. A good strategy by Marius at this stage, but I see, Connor, looks like Connor may have gone to the pits, and that's allowed Dion and Jason to get past. And
so here comes Connor.
There.
What I'd like to see is that where is Jacques? Because there's Jacques racing. He's not coming out of the chicane, but we do know that this pit exit is extremely long because Connor is still in the pits. He still needs to go around turn number 1, then all the way down past the Rouge, and I remember this pit limiter is still on. So I'm pretty sure that Jacques will be able to get past him, because now Jacques should be able to see Connor on the right hand side. I'm not too sure whether we'll see him or not.
Oh wow, is that, oh geez, they have to go through the other pits
all the way down the bottom and then all the way back up the hill. So it is an extremely long pit. So there's Jacques, you can see on the Kemmel Straight, and Connor only now being able to get up to speed, but that pit exit is so tight, you can see getting right up against the wall. So essentially Jacques is the fastest of the guys who have essentially pitted. Just a message here from Theo saying click the driver and then timetables. I think that will show the driver's last lap, not 100% sure. Theo, at this stage, I'm too scared to touch anything other than just go up and down, just in case we do get ourselves a blue screen. But I will go and do some testing over the weekend and to see whether that is possible. But thanks for that. So Sean's saying he just can't miss the races, but we do know that Sean has a rig ready to go. So Sean, I hope within the next week or so we'll see you racing and not just watching. Hashtag just saying. So Jake's starting to pull a gap ahead of Marius, so 3.5 seconds is the distance there. Jake's now onto the Kemmel Straight, and Dion, I see that he's lost Jason just a little bit. That time is now 1.5 seconds. And interesting enough, Memo up into 6th, even though he hasn't pitted, he is being able to hold his own further up the field there.
Yeah, a good strong race from him so far, but interesting to see that gap between Jakes and Marius now increasing. I wonder if Jakes is maybe thinking this is the time to come in for a pit stop, so he's going to push a little bit harder, just so that he has enough time to get in and out the pits.
So just to clarify, Ash, is that Sean won't be racing next week. He will be in Cape Town on business, but I'm pretty sure he'll be watching the racing, but the week after that we can hold him to it. And Sean, you're going to come racing with us, man. So all the drivers are starting to just open a bit of a gap between everyone now. But once the top 7 drivers who are currently on track start pitting, this is where we'll start seeing where they start filtering through. We are 2 minutes away from the halfway point. Ash, I'm not sure if you're able to just drop Stephen a message on the Discord to see whether he'll be able to join us, just so that he can give us a heads up of where the Bravo TR, just in terms of the timing, just so we can get that start of the Bravo tier 100%.
Cool.
So car number 114 is Memo, currently in 6th place. He has been able to extend the gap between himself and his teammates. Sarge was closing up on him, and then Sarge did go into the pits, and we do see that Ronaldo is in the pits 4 laps down. We're now down to 13 drivers, actually, so we have lost a driver. So Jacques starting to close up on the back of Pete. There we see Pete currently going back onto the start finish line. Jason has now gone into the pits, so it's all going to be dependent on how far Jacques is on the track. There we see Jason now going into turn 1. Here comes Jason, Jacques around turn number 1. He'll be at full pace, where poor Jason is going to be at pit limiter speed. It is one of the most frustrating pit lanes ever.
Yeah, I can definitely concur with that. I mean, it's got to be at least.
So here comes Connor around the first corner, and Jason's still in the pit. So this is also going to be very close between Jason and Connor. As we can hear Connor now going through Rouge. Jason is now back up to speed. And Connor is already on the Kemmel Straight. So there is so much time lost there in those pits. That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, but let's not forget this is for everyone. Everybody's going to basically be in the same situation. But it will be definitely interesting to see where Jakes and Marius end up coming out. And I think with Jock having a bit of space at the moment, that will definitely maybe have helped him with these calls, and may have been actually a good idea to go in and pit early in this race.
Yeah, we have seen the Jacques running wide there. We have seen how the pits definitely throw a little curveball into the mix. We see Jacques driving with the number 1. Jacques is our current ACC champion, and that was from our previous season, which was an open GT3, and he was able to do that in his Bentley.
Yeah, totally different story this season. We are currently limited to only 3 manufacturers, and that's the Honda, Nissan, and Lexus, which has actually made for very interesting racing. There we see Jason going a little bit wide, but maybe that seems to be the popular spot for most of the drivers we've seen this evening. Just using that curb on the outside there, maybe just to get a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, what's happening is it's just as they come in through turn number 15 and getting that power on at 16, they're just running a little bit wide there. But fortunately, the penalty system is not as bad as it is in Project Cars. So I do see that Ronaldo has retired, so he's no longer in the race, and I wonder whether that was not due to an accident. It did look like it was up at Rouge where he had lost it and trying to make his way back. So Jacques now starting to close up onto the back of Pete. Pete currently circulating in 5th place, but he does have a pit still to go, and pretty sure that a little bit wide there into turn number 11. This is definitely my favorite part of the track, here into turn number 12. And AD, this is where I was saying it's left.
Well, this is where this could potentially hurt Jacques. Now he's stuck behind P2's. Hasn't been on top form this evening. in terms of his pace. So you see there Jock giving a little flash, but actually Jock be racing for position.
They're racing for position, so while they're not necessarily his race, exactly, Pete doesn't have to concede their pace at all.
No, absolutely. So he doesn't have to. He can go defensive. He can protect that line. You can see there, Jock actually getting past quite easily. Maybe it's just letting him know, look, I'm on the outside, here I come, and make him just aware that...
So Jakes is in the pits. This is going to be interesting, because now Jakes is already heading on the way down.
Yeah, and Jock Racing now coming through the start-finish line to the first corner. So he was slightly held up there, or say, by Pete, but now
Jakes is still in the
coming
pits.
down
This
to
is going
Rouge.
to be so close.
This is going to be
so
super
Jakes
close.
is now up to speed. Let's just jump to Jacques. There comes Jacques. We saw him coming now up through a Rouge. He's going to have a lot more pace on Jakes. There we just seen Jakes in front.
Yeah,
they're going to be just about side by side. Jacques going to have the run on him. Will Jakes try and go defensive?
He has.
Jacques now cuts to the inside, but now he's weaving back onto the braking zone. But Jacques has been able to get himself ahead of Jakes. An absolutely perfectly timed pit stop. And unfortunately for Jakes there, he's now down into second place. So man oh man, that was extremely close.
Well, it just shows you the pace that Jacques has, and it shows you that he was actually being held up in the first couple of laps. And making that decision to go into the pits has definitely paid off. He managed to get past the slow runners, and still managed to get past Jakes. So good effort there for Jacques.
So I see that Connor's got 24 seconds plus the 1.2 seconds between himself and Jakes. So looking at when Marius comes in, will Marius still be able to stay ahead of Connor and slot back into third place? Or will Connor be able to close that gap up?
Yep, that will be interesting. Connor's probably up to race pace now, and doesn't have to worry about making a pit stop, whereas Marius still has to go into the pits and make their crucial pit stop. With
so
16 minutes left on the clock, I think
just
it's going to be a tight
for
one.
Nikki Pearson, because she's watching her boss Greg. He's now closing up on Paul. Paul hasn't had a very good race here this evening. We saw him qualify a little bit further down the order to what we normally see him. And he's got a Lexus blaring down behind him. So really good to see these guys battling it out.
No, it is a good battle between these two. And I suspect that you'll see Greg just get slipping in behind the slipstream of Paul and try get through before this chicane.
Yeah, it's carrying a lot more
so
speed
close.
there. Yo.
Whoa!
Touching the inside curb, that's going to push him wide. That's definitely not going to help him. So now he just needs to be patient, set himself up for a Rouge. No, it's too deep. So Yanoman, Greg, as we know him, driving for Sim Stuff Racing, our Monday night sponsors. So Jake's still battling it out in what is effectively a second place. Jacques hasn't got away from him. He was starting to open up a bit of a gap, but that's now remained about 0.8. Jake's taking a lot of curb on the inside at turn 12.
Oh, there goes Morris in the pits. So Morris now pitting, and let's see where these guys. And it looks like he's really exiting, or he hasn't stopped yet.
He hasn't stopped yet.
He still has to stop.
So he is going to be a little bit further down, because now Jakes and Jacques X, that's now through turn number 16. And definitely that's the line that they all seem to be taking, is riding a lot of that curb on the outside.
So I see Morris is moving again, but still has a long way to go on that pit lane. As he rounds the first corner.
And it is the entire pit straight of the Formula One start.
I'm sure he would have had time to light up a cigarette and smoke it.
Or his choice of tobacco, correct.
So Yakum, Jakes and Jock down into Rouge, and they'll probably just see Morris coming out the pit lane.
There's Morris there, we can see him going Morris under the...
So he's falling a little bit behind this pack. And with all the pit stops of the front runners now being done, it's still Dean and
Dion. That's Dion, not Dean.
Dion, sorry, Dion. My apologies. And is that Flip?
That's correct.
In second position at the moment. So still Flip and Sly Pete, who haven't pitted yet.
But we do know that Pete is synonymous to going really, really late on in the race. So effectively, Morris is in third place. Pete does need to pit, as well as Dion out in front and Flip and Sale. So guys, let us know what you think about the racing. Do you think that Jacques will be able to bring it home and keep the Green Mamba from fighting back?
So I don't know, who's this? Is that Pete?
That's Pete, yeah. So Pete's being lapped there.
Oh right. I thought he was giving Morris a run for his money there. Morris seemed to have lost out quite a bit of time during that pit stop. I mean, he's essentially 11 seconds behind Jakes and Jock Racing at the moment. With that gap between Jock Racing and Jakes still remaining the same, less than a second now. So Jakes is applying the pressure as best he can, and not allowing Jock to get away just yet. It's still out in front. We have the two guys who haven't pitted yet, with 10 and a half minutes left on the clock. They're leaving it right to the last minute, and I think it's gonna just make things a little bit interesting.
So interestingly to see is that for some reason, Ashley, our stream hasn't gone to Facebook this evening, because I couldn't figure out why there haven't been any messages coming through from Facebook, and having a look on our page, it's not there. So definitely fighting some gremlins in the system here, that's for sure. So less than 10 minutes left of this first race, and we do still have the Bravo tier to come.
Yeah, and last week we saw some very close racing. Durkee, unfortunately, who had quite an epic battle, or epic start, should I say, and yeah, unfortunately just losing it right at the end there.
Yeah, he did say that when he went and he put the tyres on, and the pressures that were set were not right, so it just killed his pace, having lost nearly a second a lap, and unfortunately that is not going to cut it to win a race.
No, for sure.
So interestingly enough is that Jason is currently down in 8th. He was looking really strong in that Honda. Ooh, lots of curb there for Jakes.
Yeah, but we still have a couple of guys that still need to pit. And I see that
so Dion and Flip.
Dion, sorry, I got it.
So Dion, that looks like he's now on the exit.
So let's see where Connor is out on track at the moment, because he could possibly...
So that was Morris that's just gone past Dion. So Connor is next. So Connor will be going down into the turn 1. And if you look at the little track map,
yeah, we can see that Dion has had a fantastic...
So Dion is now up into pace, but Connor's going to have the bigger speed advantage going through a Rouge. So Connor's been able to hang on to that place, so that will put Connor up into 4th and Dion into a 5th position. So Dion's teammate Flip Van Sale, he now exits. Pete is right behind him, and there's Jason onto the Kemmel Straight, so he's going to get himself ahead of the 2 drivers coming out of the pits. Greg is next in line, so he's now going through a Rouge. Where is Jason? So Jason's already out, and a Flip is now getting his speed, so Greg is going to be able to go ahead of him. So Greg will be now up into about 8th place, and Flip will drop a little bit further down. But man, oh man, the guys out in front, that time had just gone to about 1.2 seconds, but Jake's not allowing the Project Wetcat racer Jacques to get away.
Yeah, definitely making Jacques work for that first position at the moment. But still 6.5 minutes left. We probably have another 2 or 3 laps.
We might get 3 laps in.
But these guys have seemed to manage to pull a bit of gap on Marius, who's now 12 seconds adrift from these front 2. And down in 4th position we have Connor, the quickest of the Hondas this evening, in 4th position. I must say that he's doing really well. 5th position and 6th positions, bit of a gap now opening between the 2, so not much change there.
So I've seen a message from Sean saying, what is the current fastest lap time? Sean, I can't tell you. I know that I could possibly go to timetables, but I just know in the past, every time I've tried to push any of the menus up at the top, is that I'd get the blue screen failure. But from a qualifying time, the guys were in the 121s, so they're going to be running, the tires would be a little bit lower. I mean, in terms of the wear, they're not going to have much fuel left, so they're probably doing a good the 122s around there could be the possible race pace right now.
Is it not 221s?
What did I say? 1? I mean 221s. No. Yes.
We know what you mean.
It's a 2.
I don't even think of Formula 1 can go around that quick, but it would be interesting. So that gap between Jakes and Jacques has dropped slightly again. And Jakes will probably be looking at the time and wondering if he can maybe give a last push and effort to try and close that gap. And Jacques probably wondering when is this time going to end?
I'm pretty sure that he's watching those mirrors. Fourth place, Connor, an absolute great drive there for him. So just off the podium, but I'm pretty sure that his NASCAR interest will be very, very happy with the result. We do still need to get Connor having his own PS ID, just saying.
Yeah.
So 0.8 is now the distance between Jakes and Jacques. 3 minutes left, so we'll have this lap plus one more, and it's going to be a massive battle to the end.
You see the glowing of the brakes.
Oh,
This there.
Jakes taking way too much curb on the exit, and yes, I nearly did forget that in this Bravo tier we're going to have Brandon DeSantos, who's now joined us for his first official Assetto Corsa race with us, so that's going to be really interesting to see. Brandon, having gone into a wheel, has taken to it far quicker than some of the others that have gone from controller to wheel, so quite interested to see how he fares here. So just wanted to jump here. I saw that Sarge was closing up on Flip down in 9th place. That's a little bit unexpected. Sarge running a little bit wide, coming up over the hill, but I know that this is also exciting, but we want to just see what's happening with this battle, because we are going to be going down to the last and final lap. So this is it. This is the battle for the win here in the Alpha tier. Man, oh man, is it going to be close.
Jake's now closer than ever. Tries to tuck behind Jock there, trying to get a slipstream. If you could just tuck behind him, get close enough, maybe be able to get a slipstream, go through Rouge here. He's going to try and get a bit of exit. And still doesn't look like he's close enough, but
oh, he got a great drive there.
Looks like he has got close enough, and will he try and go for the exit now that Jock going the defensive? Jake's now shoots out onto the outside of the track, but then Jock moves across to cut him off. And a great dice here, right to the last lap here for these guys.
Oh!
Whoa, Jax goes wide. Unfortunately, he loses it a bit.
So that was coming out of turn number 9, now into the hairpin, turn 10. On the downhill, the car always feels like it's just breaking away from you. We did see Jakes running a little bit wide here the last time round, and it does look like he has done that again. But Jacques is able to open up a gap. So I think that was possibly the last attempt that Jakes could have as he hits that curve,
trying too hard now.
rotates the rear.
He just needs to hang on to that position. I mean, there's no point losing it right at the end here, and I think he's now backed off and realised that he's not going to be able to get past Jark here. Jock going through the final few corners, and an epic race he's had this evening, choosing to go into the pits a little bit early and just to give himself a bit of a breathing space. Had a bit of traffic, but still managed to get through, and here he comes through the last little chicane and then onto the main straight, and well-deserved victory there for Jock as he crosses the line, followed by Jakes, who also had a very good race, but unfortunately could not overtake Jock in in the final corners.
What
in
an
third position
incredible race, man. Wow.
is Marius. So a good couple of laps there from the front runners. In fourth position, Connor, a good comeback. It didn't seem last week, and this week he's shown what he's capable of, coming home in fourth position. A good drive there, the fastest of the Hondas this evening. And Dion there finishing up in fifth, followed by Jason in sixth position.
It looks like we've lost Memor as well, because he's no longer circulating at this stage. So Yanaman, he comes home in 7th place as he exits out of the chicane for the last time. And a very difficult race for Paul in his Honda, down in 8th place. So he will across the line, followed by a flip on sale. Then Ryan in 10th position, and they're coming out of the chicane for the last time is Pete. So interesting to see that all the drivers were on the same lap as the leaders. So absolutely fantastic to see.
Good racing all round, and just a shout out to our sponsor, CT Auto Electrical. Guys, if you want to find out more, please get in contact with Craig. Our details in the description below.
Right, guys, we're just waiting for Marius to join us in the Discord chat. Let's just see what's happening in the background here. There we go. So we can't stop because Marius.
Marius is coming. He just he went to the loo quickly.
100%.
Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear,
Yes,
Jacques.
loud.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, you seem to be a little bit out of breath there, Jacques.
I didn't expect that, eh? I did not expect that. Sure. I should have taken my vaccine before I entered that race. Just yeah.
Right, guys. Oh, there we go. Hi there, Marius. Marius, come in, Marius.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry, there's something weird going on here.
There we go.
Yeah, without.
Oh, there we go.
So, Marius, let's just start off with you. A third place for you. We did see you qualify top of the charts, but we just got the joining the lobby at the wrong time, so we did miss the start. When we jumped back on the stream, we did see that Jacques was in a Mamba sandwich, but you were down in third place. Can you just take us what happened at the start?
Yeah, the start was actually pretty cool. AD got a better start than me on the inside, so I had to let him through Eau Rouge. But then he made a mistake just up the hill, so we went the inside. So we had Jacques in a little bit of a sandwich for a while, and I think he decided to go to the pits to get out of that sandwich.
He wanted nothing of that.
No.
And it worked out well for him when I'm free, but we got held up a lot by blue flag guys, so I lost the advantage that I had totally. So when I heard the cars come down the hill when I was on my way out the pits, and
Yeah.
I'll not repeat. I won't repeat what I said then.
I can imagine. But look, a third place for you.
But a good race, well done. Mamba's on the podium. Good, Jacques. You had a faultless race. It was a good move that worked.
Thanks, man. Thanks, you guys did great. Thank you.
100%. Let's go to you, my Jakes. We were watching and counting the seconds with you starting to exit, trying to see where Jacques was on the track, trying to figure out how long that pit exit is, and it must have felt like an eternity, knowing that Jacques was coming.
I knew he was coming, and I told Marius, this pits is so long. I can't handle it. And when I came out of the pits, I was in front of Jacques. I told Marius, I'm in front. And then it was all of a sudden Jacques paused and said, no, I'm behind him.
Well, it's because he carried so much speed coming out through the Rouge, and then managed to just take you on the outside there.
He had the advantage of coming up the Rouge, and I was coming out of the pits. So I had no speed there, but a little bit of a hold up there. I don't know if Jacques had traffic, but we had traffic that me and Marius both lost about 1.5 seconds there. Me, Jacques, Marius a little bit more. But and I tried to keep on the pressure on Jacques, but I think he's got Mamba anti-venom because he don't get that fever at all. I was trying to give him so much pressure, but he's so cool. Very well done there, Jacques. To handle that pressure was excellent. Well done.
Thanks, man. Probably the best race of both seasons so far. So
Yeah,
that
was
was
excellent.
good.
So then let's go to you, Jacques. So definitely a decision to go and pit earlier to just get out of that battle. Essentially, the one thing that we were just questioning was that were you feeling that you were being slowed up by Jakes and decided to let's rather go pit, get some clean track, and hopefully leapfrog him?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I thought. Because I felt that obviously in the beginning of the race, people's pace it's just slowly, gradually increasing, and seeing Jake's just a bit slower, and then Marius behind me, actually closing the gap just before the last two laps, just before I got into the pits, I was like, we were less than a second from each other. And I was telling Paul, because Paul's on the other side of the chat, and I was telling him I can't do it. This is distracting. I'm worried. What should I do? And he's like, just pit. So I ended up pitting, and thank goodness I had a bit of clean air. So I just I did those 22s, high 21s. And I couldn't see Jake's and Marius's delta times each lap. So I was just praying and hoping that they somehow got in a bit of traffic or something. And then just before, I think it was 15 minutes before the race, 20 minutes, Sly Pete and someone else held me up, and I lost about 2.5 seconds. And then after that,
so
I think
we actually did see that. We saw that you were flashing him, but you're technically fighting for position. Yes, he's pitted, but he has every right to fight you. So it's not like, hey, I've pitted, I'm coming past you, like, hell no. And
Yeah.
you've experienced that with me, where I've pitted and I'm going, no, you want this place, you've earned this place.
Yeah, no, that was the, I was thinking that because I was just hoping he would think, okay, I'm not really in this fight, but if he wants the Mambas to win, he'll probably block me. But I mean, in the end, as Jakes was coming up the hill, I was coming down after the hairpin, and the voice, my pit crew said, someone coming out the pits, and I was like, crap, this is Jakes. And I see this green car just slithering up, up the hill, and I was like, not a chance. And I stick right behind him, and yeah, I just had enough speed to pass him, and then those last few laps, Jakes, what? Yo, I don't know.
No,
I was nervous. I was really nervous.
It was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yes. Yeah, no, that was probably best race of 2021 so far. So yeah, thanks guys.
Awesome,
Yeah.
guys.
Well done,
Wait to see
Marius.
what
Well
happens
done,
next
Jakes.
week.
Thanks,
It was good.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
you,
We'll catch
guys.
up with you next week. Cool. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
So guys, that was the Alpha Tier first, second and third, and we've just jumped into the lobby. They are just finishing that qualifying. We can see that they have a couple of seconds left, and we've got Theo out in front. Then it is Reeve, Marshall, Sheldon, Stefan, Stephen, Dirkie, then Robert, Adrian Bond, Brandon DeSantos and Tyler. From Stephen down, they have not been able to get a lap time in, so that's pretty interesting. It's definitely going to be mixing up that order. Ash, I don't know if you've been able to get hold of Stephen by any chance to see whether he can join us in the Discord, just to tell us that they are starting.
I don't know. Send a message, but I don't think you've seen it.
Oof, that's Stephen getting lots and lots of airtime there as he exits out of Rouge. Sarge, how's it? Sarge, is there, by any chance you're able to jump into the Bravo tier and give us a heads up when that rolling start has begun?
Wait a second.
That would be absolutely fantastic. So guys, while we're waiting for this race to start, let's just jump back to what happened on Monday in the start of our Bravo tier in our vintage touring car. While we just get the race to start, we'll be with you shortly.
Race.
Absolutely
And
incredible.
just check out Brandon. I think he's going to have a very good race himself as well.
So Brandon DeSantos there in third place, driving in car number 44. I see that we don't have Tyler in our Discord.
Green light, go, go, go.
Brandon and Johan managed to avoid first corner incidents and have put themselves in a good position for this race, and with still 38 minutes left on the clock, I'm sure we're still going to see some epic battles.
Yeah, it's actually just quite interesting to see what's happening at the top now, because we've essentially lost Reeve, we've lost Stephen, who's now got a drive-through penalty, as well as Theo, and those were the drivers that had qualified up at the top. When we jumped to the stream, there was just so much happening, cars bouncing everywhere, that we couldn't even figure out what had gone on there. So absolutely crazy. Running a little bit. Wow, that was extremely close. But now these two having a great battle.
So is that Brandon now passing Stefan? Wow, so Brandon having a fantastic race so far.
So
and next one on his target is Marshall, but Marshall has opened up a 15-second lead on these guys. So what if Stefan made a mistake there, and that's what caused him to drop back, because that gap was almost 5 seconds on the previous laps. It's come down right down with half a lap. But Johan still chasing in 4th position at the moment, and I'm sure he was still chasing after Stefan.
I do think what's happening is it is pulling Johan is pulling Adrian Bond with him. But that gap does seem to be increasing ever so slightly. Looks like Stefan might have made a bit of a mistake, because he was within a second. That's now nearly 3 seconds between himself and Brandon.
Absolutely. So 4 laps down, and Marshall still with a good commanding lead, followed by Brandon Santos, 3rd position Stefan. And it looks like Adrian's now going past Johan. So I think Johan may have made a mistake there. Definitely he's dropped now further behind. And we saw him earlier with Adrian just ahead. Now he's moved ahead. So either some team tactics here, or a mistake there by Johan.
So that pit lane of death, and Stephen is right behind. He's had to go and serve his drive-through penalty.
So Durkee must have had plenty of damage, and because he's now at least a couple of laps down after going to the pits for damage. But all he'll be thinking is just finish the race, get some points on the board. A lot of guys have retired, and see where he can have. I mean, there's still 34 minutes left on the clock. Here we see Tyler coming to the pits for his pit stop. He's in 6th position at the moment, and will we see a change of position here? We see Sheldon in 7th. He's already made his pit stop, and would have picked up damage from that incident that we assume was from him and Durkee coming together.
Yeah, we still don't know what happened into Rouge. We do know that there looked like about 3 or 4 drivers that were involved there. The camera just saw cars going one way to the next, so I'm pretty sure that we'll find out what's happened later on after the race. But currently we have 3 cars in the pits. Only one of them is still part of this race, so we are down to 10 drivers that are officially racing. And your race leader for the Chasing Beavers is Marshall out in front, so he's just about a lap. I believe that's Robert, and I must say I do quite like that colour scheme that Robert's got on that car of his.
And Marshall, I also like that AlphaTauri. Sort of.
Have you seen some of the memes that have now come out with the killer whale jumping out with the AlphaTauri on it? Some really interesting stuff there. So it does seem like Adrian is starting to pull away from Johan VDV. So Adrian in 4th place. He's now got 7 seconds between himself and his teammate. So a really impressive performance there.
Stefan as well.
Yeah, indeed.
So I'm sure we'll see him, and it looks like he's actually got past there and into 3rd position. Just when we were talking about it, it actually was in the process of happening. And Stefan now drops further down the field into 4th position. And Mr. Bond now takes that final podium position. But still 31 minutes left on the clock. Still anyone's race, and we know how painfully long the pit lane is, so things could change up very quickly if any of these drivers do make a mistake while pitting.
Oh, stop and go penalty for Tyler Scott. So that is running too many track limits,
or he's speeding in the pits, because we did see him go into the pits.
Maybe on the exit he changed into second too quickly, and then it basically speeds you into the pits. So he'll have to be going into the pits again. And you do not want to be pitting twice, not with the length of this this pit lane, that's for sure.
So, 6 laps down, and Marshall still leading with 12-second gap. So that time has come down. We saw it earlier at around 15-second mark. So Brandon still putting in those good times, and in basically closing down that gap, or closing that gap between himself and Marshall. And at that pace, I think we're going to see a good battle between Marshall and Brandon towards the end of this race.
100%, but we know that Sheldon, he's had 2 wins in a row. Even though he is down in 6th place, how is he faring against the 2 guys out in front?
Well, it's he's 1 lap down at the moment. We know he did have that bit of damage with the incident early in the race, and I think that may have compromised him, but judging by that pace, we could possibly see him fighting for that final podium. If not...
if I have a look at the time between Sheldon and Marshall, who's out in front, just a quick calculation. I just want to see the gap that Johan has on Sheldon when he crosses the line, because it looks like it's about 55 seconds to do that pit stop. So, because I'm seeing 28, so that's 23 plus another, that's 34. So that's, we're on about 34 seconds. Plus the gap between Johan and Sheldon. It all depends on which sector that lap time was registered. Because understanding that Sheldon has pitted.
Absolutely.
Just not seeing
But
that lap
still
time
seeing-
changing.
Yeah, he's still 1 lap down, so maybe that's quite a gap. Now I see it's 2 laps down, so Dylan, I think he's got a big job ahead of him if he's going to be catching those cars out in front. I mean, and the same for Durkee. I mean, Durkee probably doing similar times to with Sheldon at the moment. You can see that gap between him and Sheldon is pretty much stayed the same. We see somebody in the wall there, and I wonder who that is.
I think that's Robert.
It is Robert, and looks like he's just gonna be. Nope, he's decided to take off again. Maybe he's just waiting for the traffic to come past.
So the gap between Brandon DeSantos and Marshall, that's now just on 12 seconds. So over the last 2-3 laps, there's now less than 10. Is that Brandon's been able to close down 6 seconds with 27 minutes to go. This is still going to be a very interesting race.
Oh, that's quite a massive decrease in that gap. So it's quite possible that Marshall made a mistake somewhere and he's lost a hell of a lot of time. So that gap between Adrian and Stefan has increased. But much has changed for Johan down in 5th position. Still not getting good rhythm, and looks like he's having a bit of battle here with that Sheldon. So Sheldon now trying to get past and to unlap himself, I would imagine.
No, that was Durkee. So I think that was that's Johan essentially lapping Durkee.
But Sheldon's ahead of Durkee, so alright.
No, that's because that is Johan and Durkee battling it out.
Oh. Not gonna. So that's Durkee, unfortunately, just touching Johan there and caused him to go into the barrier. So perhaps he hasn't picked up too much damage. But if I was Johan now, I would go into the pits and get that pit stop out the way and potentially just see if he can fix that damage. Ooh, who's that in the pits?
That's Marshall missing his pit box.
Missing.
So that's
So
going to
Marshall
cost
going-
him some
yeah.
time, because now that's released Brandon out in front. So Brandon is now the new leader of this race.
And that just shows you exactly how, by just making a small mistake like that, how much time you could possibly lose. So hopefully he didn't lose too much time there. But Brandon now out in front, and I don't think he would have thought that he would be leading this race. And Marshall now exiting the pits. Still with a bit of a gap.
So I think Johan heard you, because he has pitted, and he does have Tyler going in to do his stop and... Tyler, come on, there we go. So that is Tyler doing his stop and go. So there's confirmation at the bottom that the car 132 stop and go has been cleared. So Tyler will be able to go racing again.
So there's Marshall now getting out onto the circuit after their painfully long pit stop. And he's joined the circuit down in 4th position. So hopefully we'll get a time. That time between Johan, okay, so that's 50 seconds. So yeah, Sheldon unfortunately is still a lap down, even after that pit stop by Marshall. So it just really confirms that Sheldon had quite a bit of damage, and it's cost him basically a lap or two while he was getting that car repaired. There goes Johan. He's exiting the pits now. I'll say exiting is more like a long road trip. But still in 5th position, as you will probably see the guys Durkee and Sheldon trying to unlap themselves. Here comes Durkee.
That's Stephen chasing him down.
You're at the halfway mark, keep pushing.
So there's confirmation halfway. So we only have 22.5 minutes left of this race. Still have 3 drivers that need to pit. But Brandon Dos Santos, his first race here with us at Assetto Corsa, and he found himself out in front leading, understanding that Marshall was ahead for the duration before he pitted. He did have a little bit of a mistake, missing his pit box and having to reverse. So it all depends on how much time he lost there and how much that has affected that gap between himself and Brandon. Adrian Bond in a 2nd place currently. He does still need to pit, but he was in provisional 3rd with him behind Brandon before the pits. So it has been really good to see Adrian fighting out at the top there.
No, for sure. I'm quite interested to see where Brandon comes out after this pit stop and what that gap between Marshall and himself will be. As we did see Marshall making that little bit of mistake in the pit
Stephen,
stop.
lots of curve there into turn 15.
But yeah, I think it's going to be Brandon Santos' race to lose. He just needs to make sure that he gets that pit stop done to the T, and I suspect that he'll come out ahead of Marshall, if not very, very close. So there we see Marshall in picture at the moment. And,
So I did want to say your provisional leader, but we don't know how much time was lost in the pits compared to what Brandon's going to do as our 3rd place, effectively 3rd place driver comes into the pits. That is Adrian Bond. So does he hit that pit box spot on?
looks like he has.
The car will now be jacked up. It will then be lowered, and away you go.
Looks like it's slow motion
Yeah.
compared to.
So here comes Marshall. Here's coming through turns number 16. He'll now go through the chicane. And I'm pretty sure that Adrian is going to be watching that time as Adrian now goes through the 2nd part. And we can just watch the map down in the bottom. There's Marshall now going into the last corner. So only a couple of meters and then Adrian will be able to accelerate. But we did see this in the Alpha tier, that the driver that is going through a Rouge has way much more speed than the driver coming out of the pit lane.
Yeah, we saw Jake's being overtaken by Jock there. Even though going defensive, Jock was able to go on the
Adrian,
outside.
I think Adrian jumped the pit because there you can see
my
30-second stop go penalty for Adrian. So he's going to have to go into the pits again.
Well, that's essentially just ruined his race right there, because that's not just a 30-second stop. That's like a minute and a 30-second stop. So very unfortunate event there for Adrian and for Sim Stuff Racing. But still now we have Brandon DeSantos and Stefan in second position, and Marshall in third, and it's up to these guys to have a good clean pit stop to keep their positions alive. And I wonder if Brandon will be looking at this time.
So that was
Around-
Adrian Bond, very slow on the Camel Straight, so that was quite interesting because he did have a yellow flag which I picked up on the track map, and yeah, Brandon went flying past him.
Perhaps maybe he had a blue flag. He had to get out the way because he's one lap down.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, guys, just saw him.
What is that, Ryan?
I say I was on his camera view and he was stopped straight.
Oh wow. Okay, very interesting. So here's Dirkie up against Johan VDV again. We did see Dirkie get up onto the inside and just nudge Johan. So
Yeah,
it
this
just
is position. So this time around it is for position. So hopefully it'll be a good, clean. Whoa.
so that is leaving no space for any one of them. And they were going too wide through turns number 15. And it looked like Dirkie went around the outside there in the end. But that's now Stephen looking to unlap himself. So Stephen up on the inside. And he is trying to get himself ahead of Johan VDV to effectively unlap himself.
So Adrian goes in the bond to serve that 30-second penalty for essentially speeding in the pits and costing him that podium position.
So I think it is just that little bit of nerves. Just change the gears too soon, and by doing that it goes into second and you start accelerating, and that causes that stop and go penalty. So like we mentioned, that stop and go penalty, even though you stop for 30 seconds, it is the time that is taken to go in and out of the pits. So back to our
Brandon's.
race leader. And we do know that he's battling with himself and Marshall. So Marshall is the first of the pitter drivers. See Adrian now starting to drop back, and then we have Stefan in second place. So interestingly enough, we have Lexus, then Honda. Where in the Alpha tier, that was 3 Nissans up in top, and the fastest Nissan on the track is currently Johan in 5th.
Yeah, it's a complete change around to what we saw in the Alpha tiers, but we did see the first corner incidents, and then shortly followed by another couple of bunda bashings, if I put it that way.
contact.
And that's yeah, a bit of contact between the guys, and that's now dropped our front runners that we saw from the previous races dominating right down to the mid pack. But Turkey's done well so far to move himself up to 4th position. Still a lap down from the leaders, but I'm sure he's still pushing very hard. With 30 minutes left on the clock, might be a bit of a big ask for him to finish on the podium this evening. But we're still waiting for Stefan and for Brandon to do their pit stops. There's only 2 drivers that are out there at the moment that haven't pitted yet.
I saw that gonna happen.
Steven.
And he manages to catch it, do a complete 360, and carry on driving as if nothing had happened. But Stephen, we did catch that, so a great recovery there. I'm sure your
was an awesome recovery.
reactions coach is going to be very proud of you.
We see you hung the Some Stuff Racing colours. Not having the best of race evenings, but I do like those colours, the colour scheme that the guys put together. Very well done. Bit of scuff marks on the side there, I suspect from him and possibly Dirk, Mr. Bond. Interested to see when Brandon's going to come in for that pit stop, because he's leaving it right to the last minute.
So still over 10 minutes left, but I'm pretty sure that he'd need to make it quite soon.
He's not giving himself much time in case there is a bit of a problem in the pits to close that gap if there is any.
Your Marshall hit that inside apex absolutely superbly. Had a great entry into turn 7, which put him right on the spot into turn 8, which allowed him to set himself up through turn number 9. It just looks so good. Just hitting all the right markers is Marshall here. You can see it running out into turn number 11, taking a little bit of the curb, using as much of the track as possible. So Marshall really looking good here, just touching that inside curb into 12, and that's going to allow him to carry the maximum speed towards turn number 13.
Well, the Hondas definitely seem like they have a lot better turning and grip around the corners compared to other cars that we've seen.
So here we go. Brandon is in the pits. So the car is down, he is moving. Now the question is, how far is Marshall? So we can now see Marshall heading towards turn 17.
Oh, this is going to be close.
And Brandon is still chugging along. He still has the rest of the pit lane to go through. We can jump back to Marshall. Marshall is now going through the Elisha Kane. You can see the little grey dot at the bottom. We're now heading up towards a Rouge, but Brandon will still be a little bit slow through there as Marshall now goes into turn number 1.
Wow, this is going to be
so
close.
Brandon is now accelerating. He's now up to speed, while Marshall is flying down.
Just yet.
Well, okay, he's getting up to speed. So Brandon now exits ahead of Marshall, and there's Marshall. So that is first and second place, and I'm pretty sure that Brandon is absolutely over the moon to see where he currently is on track, and is now the provisional leader after he's now pitted.
But we have a new leader at the moment, Stefan. who's had a very quiet and but good race so far, is now currently leading this evening's privateer by 18 seconds at the moment, but let's not forget that he still has a pit stop that he needs to complete, and we've seen that probably around about 50 seconds. But nevertheless, a pretty good race by him this evening.
So 8 minutes left to go. And where does it put Stefan once he is pitted? There's a long list of drivers that he could possibly just slot into. So does he come out in third place behind Marshall between Dirkie, or does he find himself behind Johan? Because I saw that Johan, that was 38 seconds is the gap there, added to Brandon 16 seconds, and all of a sudden you find yourself with 50 seconds. So he could quite possibly come out in I'd say 4th or 5th place.
I'm just wondering what the time difference is there for Dirkie, because I know Dirkie's probably been pushing ever since he left the pits. There's still no times there, so it's very difficult to tell. But now that time between Brandon and Stefan has come down quite a bit. So Stefan needs to start thinking about going to the pits very soon.
Oh, Marshall is closing up on the back of the Rough Rider. So this is chasing beavers up against a Rough Rider, and man oh man, if you weren't watching racing, you'd probably think this was the title of your sex tape.
Yeah, Marshall not letting that win slip away that easily. He's going to be fighting Brandon right to the end. We know he's got a little bit more experience. He's been around a little bit longer than Brandon on the Assetto Corsa. But will the Lexus have the legs to carry Brandon home? Still, Stefan hasn't come into the pits yet with just on 5.5 minutes left to go. So he's leaving it very, very late.
Yeah, Stefan has got 2 more laps to go before he can pit. Because if you don't pit before the time, as Brandon gets very, very loose out of turn 16, and I'm sure Marshall is going to be relishing at that opportunity to close him down. I do see that car number 23 is stopped. Not 23, apologies. It looks, that must be 43 then.
So again, Stefan goes through and still not pitting. He's going to go around for an additional lap. So I hope he's remembered that he has to go in the pits. Otherwise, he will be disqualified.
So that gap is only 9 seconds now, so they definitely are closing up on him.
There's Marshall, and looks like their gap has grown slightly, so perhaps Marshall making a little mistake.
Oh no!
Using a free.
That is Brandon losing it through a rouge. I heard the tire squeal, which now releases Marshall out in front once again. And I'm pretty sure that Brandon is going to be putting his hands in his head in his hands, going, what has just happened?
That is most unfortunate. So just pushing a little bit too hard, maybe watching his mirrors and trading on the race ahead, and I hope he hasn't picked up too much damage. Looks like he is on his way again.
So I know that these two are out of position. This is Dirkie and Steven, but they've spent a lot of time together racing against each other. So it would have been absolutely incredible to see if they were essentially on the same lap. So just jumping to the race leader, this is Stefan. He's now coming out of turn number 15. He's gonna have to pit now. I don't think that he will have enough time if he decides to stick it out this one and pit in the next lap.
Maybe he's gonna try Schumacher. When did the pits? I don't know if this game will allow it.
No, it won't, because what will happen is it will say that you haven't pitted and you'll be disqualified. So this is the moment of truth. So that's it, and Stefan puts it into the wall, getting himself ready to enter. And I think that is just pure panic now. He hasn't found the reverse.
Reverse Stefan.
So
I think the car maybe is lodged to the barrier because he's not moving.
So that is absolutely heart-wrenching there for Stefan. Still stuck up against the wall. Doesn't look like he's been able to find a reverse gear, because that car is there it is, there's the reverse. So Stefan will now make his way into the pits. So that's now going to promote Dirkie up into third position.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's Dirkie now coming out of turn 16. And Johan VDV, he might be able to get himself ahead of Stefan as well. Johan is approaching turn 13, but now it all depends on whether Stefan's settings in terms of his pit stop, is it going to be fixing the damage. You can see lots of damage on the front of their car now. He is still not moving. Johan's now coming out of turn 15. And I think that's Dirkie now coming out of turn number 1. So Dirkie definitely up
he
the
still
order.
One lap down? He's still one lap down, Dirkie.
No, I do believe that he would have taken him, because here comes Johan. So he'll cross the line, and we'll get a better view of what the distance is between himself and Stefan. So there's confirmation. So Dirkie is in third, but now Johan, while Stefan is still in pit lane. Johan will now move himself ahead up into 4th place, and that's going to put Stefan down into 5th position.
So yeah, most unfortunate, just a tiny mistake there by Stefan, and unfortunately it's lost him their podium position. And there's Marshall coming across the line, finishing the race. So a good win there for him, fighting back, and fortunately didn't have to really do much because Brandon made a bit of mistake going through the Rouge, and that sort of cost him his race, unfortunately. But a good drive there by Marshall and by Brandon, coming home in 2nd position. And I would have to say that one of the top drivers of the day is Dirkie. A good recovery there, coming from a lap down to finish in 3rd position.
Yeah, 100%. And man, oh man, I just feel for Adrian. And I was going to say, I do feel for Adrian, but there's Stefan getting himself a 30-second stop and go penalty. So this has definitely not worked out for Stefan at all.
That's most unfortunate. So there we have Durkee doing a bit of a hovercraft there. I'm sure he wasn't expecting that. There you can see Donuts for joy. So let's go down to Johan. Where is he on the track at the moment?
So there's Johan crossing the line. So Johan finishes in 4th in pure Johan style, throwing it across the line. Then Stefan's going to cross the line and he's going to get a 160-second penalty added to his time. So I'm pretty sure that that's going to see him dropping further down the order.
Yeah, that might just promote Sheldon. If you could just put your camera onto Sheldon's view.
I have unfortunately lost all control. I cannot change the camera whatsoever.
So it'll be interesting to see. Oh, that's most unfortunate because we never know where everybody finishes with this game.
So I'm pretty sure we will be able to work that out. But we have called the guys into the Discord, so that will be Marshall, Brandon, then Durkee. So guys, welcome. What a crazy race in the end there. Durkee, let's start off with you. 3rd place for you. A tough battle working your way up through the field. A few mistakes from some of the drivers further up. We saw Adrian Bond doing exceptionally well going into the pits. Finding himself a 30-second stop and go penalty, so he had to go in. So that was another place you were able to get yourself up. Stefan needing to go into the pits, left it right to the end, outbraked himself and put it up against the pit wall and couldn't find reverse. So we were essentially handed a 3rd place.
Yes, this was really crazy. On the 2nd lap, there was somebody in your roof on the inside, and I've hit that car, and my car was wrecked. So I struggled around for the lap, and I went into the pits, and I decided not to change tires, but the car was shaking a lot. So, and I went for a pit stop, and I came out, and the car was still shaking while I turned to the right, and I realized that one of my wheels was bent, and I had to go for another pit stop. And you know, this is not the shortest pit stop of them all. So I've decided, no, let's go and put my head down and see what I can do. And, you know, so all the bad luck, a little bit of the luck came back to me because, I mean, I lost about 70 seconds with the 2nd pit stop. And I finished 58 seconds behind the leader. So, yeah, bad luck for me there.
Sure. But look, 3rd place overall. Pretty sure you're happy with that result.
I am happy. I'm happy. I actually enjoyed it to fight back. I was a bit surprised to be in 3rd because I don't know what happened. Because at a stage I could see Marshall in front of me, but he was like 69, 67 seconds somewhere there. And I said, no, I won't catch up. But I'm just going to keep on trying. Whatever happens, anything can happen. And all of a sudden I saw I'm 3rd, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what what went wrong there. But anyway, I'll take that one.
100%. Let's go to you, Brandon. We saw that Marshall made a bit of a mistake going into the pits. Looks like he missed his pit box. So wasted a bit of time. Managed to come out of the pits, and Brandon, you put yourself into first. A mistake going through a rouge gave the lead back to Marshall, and unfortunately you had to settle with the second. But your first race here with ACC, and you're on the podium.
No, it was really awesome. It was a bit unfortunate in the start of the race. I think a lot of us were affected. But yeah, once sorted that out, I saw Marshall was quite a bit away, so I just put my head down trying to catch him. And then I don't know what happened. I saw I was in first. So I didn't pass Marshall, so I was chasing a ghost around the track. And then I did the exact same thing Marshall did. Came into the pits and I missed my pit box.
Oh,
so I had
my
to reverse,
goodness.
and then yeah.
So look, I'm pretty sure you
But it was a really
you
good
can be
race.
happy with the second place. Let's go to you,
Yeah, very
Marshall.
happy.
Mistake in the pit box and misfortune to the other driver to essentially give you that place back, because there was a point where it looked like Brandon was actually going to be pulling away from you.
Yeah, definitely. But coming to the first incident at the Rouge, I managed just to escape through that whole mess, and then I just put my head down and told myself I need to get far in front of these guys as possible. And then I made a mistake. I don't know if you saw it. Going through the left-hand sweep, I hit the curb and then I hit the wall. So I had some damage, and that's actually why I went to the pits, because I lost about 2 seconds a lap to Brandon that was behind me. So I pitted after I've calculated how much time do I have left to number 4, and I knew it takes about a minute for you to get out of the pits. So I told myself, if I don't go pit now, I'm not going to get back into contention for first place, and that was my strategy, and it worked. Yeah, I had a solid race tonight. The car felt really good, even though I didn't post fast times, but consistency is key.
100%. Yeah, we from our side we were working it out to about 55 seconds for that pit stop, provided you hit your pit box.
Yeah. Next time.
Awesome. No, guys, thank you so much. It was really a crazy race to watch. Even the incident at a Rouge, we just managed to get the cars going up, but then the camera changed and there was just cars going everywhere, so we didn't quite get to see what happened, other than we knew that there was just chaos. Guys, thank you very much. We will see you next week, Thursday. And to those racing on Monday, we'll see you for round 6. To the Bravo tier, well done, guys. Great racing. Really interesting to watch. And it always does deliver some interesting things there. To our sponsor, thank you very much, CT Auto Electrical, for backing us once again for the season. It is always really awesome to get guys involved with us and provide those prizes through to the teams. Guys, all I can say is thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for the drivers for racing, as well as the support that we get on the live streams. We're not quite sure why our Facebook link didn't go up, but it has been on YouTube, and we'll definitely make sure that that bug is sorted out for next week. Ashley, anything from your side?
Yes, guys, if you want to get involved, if you want to participate, if you want to challenge these guys and show what you're worth, come and join us. Check out our website, sarcoracing.co.za. You can watch us live on YouTube on Mondays and Thursday nights, as well as Facebook when it is working. And
it hasn't not worked. That's what I don't understand. This stuff, honestly.
Yeah, so please come check us out. Join us on the Discord. We'd love to see you race with us.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much. So until then, keep racing, and thanks for watching. Yos.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.